Hey guys, Colbert here. Welcome back to the test server. I'm really excited today because this will be the biggest update for mobile players out there. We play the game on PC. Many of us out there play the game on PC, but the mobile players out there, we're kind of lacking behind in terms of optimization for their gearing and also their gear selling abilities, right? So with this new patch, with the fusion and all of that, we have the new quality of life updates coming in. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that now the way that you filter through your items here on this page is kind of easier right now. It's gonna benefit some mobile players for sure, but also the PC players, at least in the sense of finding maybe an item that you might have forgot. You might not be using the optimizer, but you still play on PC. Maybe you've got RSL helper, maybe not, but still these tips I think you will find them beneficial. So first things first, more things were added here that we had before. There's really two things that are really out the gate just new, right? This priority stats page here, which what this means is that it gives you, based on the priority, the items with the highest to the lowest. And what now exists in the game is a way of giving like a number to an item based on its quality. So if it's a perfect item, it's gonna have the highest number, and if it's a bad item, it's gonna have the lowest number in terms of what you're searching for here in the priority. So if you're looking for the highest speed item, you can click there and it's gonna filter through the items on each of your set categories here based on the highest speed. So here the boots of course go first. You can of course filter through that by just clicking everything else except boots. So now you don't see the boots anymore, but you see your highest speed chest piece, which is mine right there with 22 plus 7 speed, which is 29 speed. And then we have 28. And then this one, 24, and so on and so forth. You can find your fastest items of each set if you wanted to, or if you didn't want to, if you don't care about the set, you just want the speed, right? The fastest item. You click here right at the bottom where it says hide set filters. And now every single item is bunched in together and you can see the highest speed item that you have overall, and it's going to be sorted right there for you to have access to. And if you wanted to have maybe, okay, I want the highest speed, but I also want to have it to probably have a good amount of crit rate. So you can filter through that. It's going to give you crit rate gloves here with the speed on the substat. Okay, 17 speed, 60% crit rate. It makes sense for it to be high up there. Maybe this way you can actually find the items that you're looking for. But what I don't like about this is that there's no way to filter items that do not have that substat so that you can actually start selling them. So let's say if I wanted items without speed, how can I see them and then click select and sell all? There's no such thing at the moment, but it's still a very strong way, good way for you to filter through your items and actually find what you're looking for, especially if you are planning to equip only specific gear pieces for, let's say, the cruel gear. Okay, I want to find my best critical damage cruel gear, which is the critical damage gloves. Let's say I want to filter and only show the ascended ones. Then you can of course do that as well, and then you can actually start finding and searching for specific ascensions as well. So that's an added option in there. So with this kind of filtering system, equipping your champions has become a little bit easier, but of course, you know, not as easy as using, let's say, the rate optimizer, which is available through the HH website. So just have that in mind. I think this is a really cool system. There is some things that can be improved. Maybe if they added a way for us to search for just the numbers. I want to see just the numbers of crit rate. I want to search for gloves with substat of 20% and higher crit rate. I would like to see that instead of how we have it right now. But you can still search for, you know, critical damage gloves, okay? And then I wanted to have a high priority and crit rate. So by doing this, okay, it's going to be showing me the critical damage gloves and then the critical rate on the substat being the highest priority, which for me, I have 0 crit damage sets. So, oh my God, I have 0 of these two. All right, let's see. All right, this one's got 14% crit rate, and then it drops down to 13%, and then 12%, and so on and so forth. So in this way, you're equipping based on the highest crit rate and priority, And then let's say we've got low priority on speed. How's that gonna go? It's gonna be trying to find crit rate in the highest priority, but then if it has speed, it's gonna show it as well. So this is another way for you to use the filtering system, accompanying it with, you know, the primary stats filter right there. And if you want to go even crazier than that, you also add the substat filter for crit rate, and it's going to filter them even more. But it will always show you the highest crit rate there on the top because of this priority system, which I find cool. Like if I wasn't using the optimizer tool, this would be, you know, the next best thing, and I would definitely use it to better gear my champions. And you can also filter, by the way, on equipped items. So equipped items, let's say I want to find the highest speed, you can still find it if it's something that you have equipped. Let's say I want to see what is my fastest piece, like through all my gear. I wonder, is it still this one? Yeah, 29 plus 4, and then this helmet's got a 24 plus 8, this perception helmet, which I think the perception helmet is much better because it's the perception set, which also gives you speed and accuracy, which is great for champions like Prince Keimer. So we've got more things coming in through this patch. Okay, what we also have that has been added is a filtering system for items that you get while farming through multi-battles for, let's say, spiders, den, dragons, fire knight. All of these have different filtering systems of their own, and they only work through the multi-battles system right here. Okay, so you will see that some of these do not have a filtering system and others have. Each and every one of these will also have a filtering system for its own. So how you do this is you click on multi-battles, you click on the filter, you enable it, and then you select your filters. So Ice Golem, Spider, Dragon, Fire Knight will have a different filtering for them based on each dungeon, so that you don't have to worry. Okay, for Fire Knight, maybe you don't want to be as strict as, let's say, the Ice Golem. For Ice Golem, let's say you don't care anymore. You only want to keep the 6-star, and you only want to keep epic gear and higher. So this is how your page would look like. Also, maybe you want to be even more strict. What you want to be clicking is right here on the substats. You unselect everything, and you only, let's say you have selected the speed there on the substats. So what this does is, based on where you've clicked, it's going to be keeping the gear. So if you get an item that doesn't have speed in the substat, regardless of anything of the stats, maybe it's got crit rate, crit damage, accuracy, it's going to sell that because you clicked here on the speed substat. If you click here in the crit rate, you will be keeping items that either have speed or either a crit rate or both. It doesn't matter. If one of those two exists in the substat, it's going to keep it. So this is like another, I think this is like the best filtering filtering system at the moment in terms of, okay, which substats to keep, because everything else, like an item that has HP%, accuracy and crit rate is cool, but if it had HP% accuracy and crit damage, this is not such a great item. There are uses for this kind of item, but it's usually you'll need speed in there. So accuracy usually goes in very well with speed. So speed and crit rate, I think, are the best kind of rules that you can follow, and then you'll have to use the rules on each piece of gear. So for your weapon, your helmet, your shield, you want to follow basically the same rules. And what I would do for more later game and end game players, I would basically do these rules, like crit rate and speed. Everything else, you don't really care about it. And unfortunately, you cannot filter through for specific sets. So let's say if a provoke set drops, okay, I want it to have accuracy, but I don't want it to have crit rate. So you can filter through that. Unfortunately, if it drops and it has one of these clicked substats, then it's going to keep it. So you can actually also sell item sets regardless of their substats through here. If you unclick life, it's going to be selling all the life artifacts that you get. This is a very end game kind of option. Why am I saying this? This is because let's say you get critical damage gloves, okay? A good example of this, you get life set critical damage gloves with critical rate in the substat. It's a legendary item. It can potentially roll very well for you. If you're an endgame player, it is unlikely that you'll use that over, let's say, the cruel set for a damage dealer, because of how the cruel set exists with the, ignore defense part. But any player out there who's not endgame will find use for an item like that. And I can give you examples on my account where I still have items that are offset items that I use regardless of their set bonus because of how good their primary and substat rolls are, and also even their ascensions, because I've ascended those and got, let's say, critical rate roll on the gloves. That is amazing and a very easy way for me to get those added stats that I was looking for to get to a 100% crit rate. So I would highly recommend everyone to keep all of these sets on selected, unless you really, really don't care about keeping those sets anymore, regardless of the subset. But the majority of players will still have to keep all of these, and then try to keep them, let's say, with speed and crit rate. I think this is like the best filters that you can follow. And this same thing exists for Dragon, so you'll have to go through Dragon and make your filters here as well. These are not shared between Ice Golem and all that, so you'll have to go and change your filters for Dragon. Maybe for Dragon you are less strict and you want to get some 5-star gear, but again, you're looking for epics and higher. You basically unselect whatever you want to be sold. And those are the rules. As I said before, you want to be keeping maybe speed for sure, and then maybe crit rate in the substat as another way for you to get better stats on your items. But overall, I think even if you don't care about crit rate anymore, speed has to be selected in this, and then basically any item that you get that has speed will be kept. I'm not sure how this works. Let's say if you didn't want to be keeping shields for whatever reason, you just unclick this as well, and then you're selling all shields. So I guess you could do that, but I highly recommend not doing it, as it can actually ruin your account by just selling all the shields that you're getting, and you end a run of, let's say, 1,000 energy. You're like, okay, where are all the shields? Where did those go? So be very careful with the rules that you set, and don't rush into this system. You can try it out with like 10 runs and see what was kept and what was sold by actively looking at it. But just keep it in mind that it can be rough doing it. So for Spider, it's a little bit different. So these are accessories, so it's not the same way as the other items are. So here we have rings, amulets, and banners. Again, here what I would recommend is players being maybe strict with here. Obviously you want to be keeping all the factions, because you never have enough, and there's so many factions in the game at the moment. What you want to have in mind though is that there's no way at the moment to, let's say, have rules for, let's say, the rings, keeping an HP primary ring with HP percent and then selling anything that doesn't have HP percent. What I've done here is I've selected only the stats that I want to see there in items, but there is still the chance that, let's say, a defense ring drops with attack percent and HP percent, but no defense percent. It's still going to keep it because we have selected them like so. And there's not really many rules that you can go with accessories, unfortunately, because of how, well, for accessories for amulets, you want to keep all the primaries, right? And with substats, you basically want to have all the substats. Maybe not crit damage. Maybe this is the least wanted substat, but it's highly unlikely that you'll get any items with just this on. You just can't get those. These are only, common items. If it's a rare item, even if it's got crit damage, it's going to have one of the other substats, so it's going to be keeping it. So again, you'll have to go manually through all the amulets that you received to actually start selling them. If you want to, let's say, not keep any of the attack amulets, because let's say you don't have bomb champions or you don't care about bomb champions, you can just unselect attack. And if it drops and has doesn't have attack on the primary, it's gonna sell it. Or if it does have attack on the primary, it's gonna sell it. So you can actually do that, and in that sense, you'll be a little bit more strict. But again, this is basically the only way to filter through amulets. And then banners, what I would do and would recommend, if you have a good base of banners already with accuracy and resistance, even if they don't have speed, it's good to have some when you're starting out. But later on, you'll reach a point where you want to be keeping banners only when they've got speed in the substat. And basically, this is the only rule that you'll need. Anything else, it depends on what you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for getting an attack banner with attack percent and rolling that to get a quad roll. Well, then yeah, you'll have to click on this one. If that's not one of your goals and you want to be just farming until you get maybe an attack banner with attack percent, but also needs to have speed, then yeah, you'll just click this rule right there. And it's going to be keeping all the speed substat banners through your drops. But yeah, if you want to be a little bit more, you know, getting more of the banners, you just click the percentages as well, and you'll be keeping those. But remember, you might be getting banners without the speed substat, and with any of these HP percentages or percentages overall. So you'll have to, again, go manually through them and maybe upgrade those. If you get a good roll, you sell it. If not, then you keep it. So yeah, this is basically the system, guys. I tried to go through it. I mean, it's not the best system. There's no, you know, crazy rule setting like how RSL Helper has, but it's still a pretty good thing for mobile players out there who will find the most use out of this one for sure. I hope in the future we get more quality of life upgrades, and not only every 4 to 5 months. That's what Raid has been doing. Every so many months they are doing upgrades, and they know that they need to optimize things better, but they're taking their sweet time for sure, it seems. So yeah, this was the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be posting more videos on the test server soon enough. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.